Hello, this is Ashley Fortinall with Texas Values, and I'm on the ground at NRB with Tony Perkins from Family Research Council. What are you up to, Tony?
Well, Ashley, we're just kind of making our way around, talking to a lot of folks, and we just ended up hosting our daily program, Washington Watch, and so glad to have the opportunity to talk with you.
Yeah, it's good
all that Texas Values does.
Yeah, it's good to see you, and it was good to see you at the Fifth Circuit a few weeks ago, back in January. So what are your hopes for the Ten Commandments case in Texas and Louisiana?
I'm very hopeful it's going to start a trend across the country. In talking with the Attorney General of Louisiana, a friend of mine, Liz, pretty confident this is going to end up before the Supreme Court. And they feel like they're on pretty solid ground legally based on some recent court decisions. So I'm optimistic that the court is going to uphold the state's rights to have the Ten Commandments posted in every classroom. And I believe that's going to start a trend across the country, at least in red states. And increasingly, I think you're going to see people voting with their feet and leaving the blue states like they did in the last census. We saw like California losing 2 congressional seats, New York losing seats because people are leaving those states.
Do you see other states continuing to pass similar laws even while this is going on?
I do in many ways, and I would encourage lawmakers not to craft policy based upon what they think the court may do, but to craft policies based upon what is right constitutionally, not according to the left's view of the Constitution that has been perverted and changed, but on the originalist view of the Constitution and, quite frankly, what the Word of God says. And we need to be, especially in this 250th anniversary of our country, we need to return to the foundation of this country, and the founders very clearly understood the importance of biblical truths and principles being the foundation for our country.
And can you tell me how the Kennedy case has overturned Lemon and how that affects our laws today?
Well, it's very interesting. That was a big discussion in the Fifth Circuit. I was in the courtroom as they were discussing that or debating at the oral arguments. Is that, the Lemon case is basically gone, which has been the foundation for so much bad law or bad decisions when it comes to religious freedom. That now is gone. And so there's really a new standard in place that Coach Kennedy, the Kennedy case set up. So, I think based on that, that's why there's so much optimism that if this goes to the Supreme Court, which many believe it will, that they will prevail.
Very good. So let's shift a little bit over to the abortion pill. I know that you're working on that. Can you tell me what work you're doing with that?
Yeah, actually, it's very similar with what the court. The court has been really at the center of all of these issues. Well, the court took itself out of this back with the Dobbs decision, gave it back to policymakers at the state and the federal level. And so we saw immediately after that, states all across the country that either had trigger laws in place or adopted pro-life laws. So we have roughly 41 states to differing degrees protecting the unborn and their mothers, 12 states totally protecting the unborn and their mothers. So you would say that then abortion rates must have gone down in this country. Well, actually the year before the overturn of Roe, there were 930,000 abortions. In the latest year available in the totality of the numbers was 2024, and it was 1.1 million. So why the increase? Well, the increase is because of the abortion pill, that the policies regarding that were changed during the Biden administration right after the overturn of Roe, but those policies have remained in place. So all those states that have pro-life laws, well, they're being undermined by the FDA policy allowing these abortion pills to be mailed into the states without any type of medical consultation by the person ordering them. It's not always the woman. As you've seen, even in Texas, sometimes it's been the male partner that has ordered the pills and given them involuntarily to the mother to kill the unborn child. That's being used increasingly by sex traffickers and others. It's murder by mail is what it is. the FDA needs to change its policy, and so we're working on a multitude of fronts to see that policy at least go back to where it was during the first Trump administration that required an in-person consultation. I mean, you cannot, there's rarely, I can't really think of any prescription medicine that you can get without having to have consultation with your doctor. I mean, if you
Let alone one that would kill a child.
well, and the mother. I mean, 11% of these women are having adverse effects, ending up in emergency rooms. I mean, I can't even get, if you want to get a sleeping pill or something, if you're taking a trip overseas, you got to talk to the doctor to get it. They got to know your medical history. As you said, this is something that takes a life, puts a mother's life at risk. It's being sent through the mail, no consultation whatsoever. That's got to change.
So, what have you seen in Texas to change since the Women and Child Protection Act came into place?
Well, the good news is Texas was creative in this front, allowing for the private right of action, which is if the criminal law is not going to be enforced, or you've got these shield laws in place in states like California where these doctors are mailing these pills in, but they're creating these shield laws to protect them. Allowing another approach with the private right of action where someone else can file a civil suit. I think we just need to come at this in every way possible. So Texas is really, in many ways, leading. Our neighbor being Louisiana, Texas being right next door, two states that are doing, I think, a lot on the pro-life front.
That's very good. So you say Texas is leading. Let's end this in a positive way. So Texas is leading. Can you kind of explain how that will affect the rest of the nation and how you see the rest of the nation going?
Now, having been a former policymaker, I was in the Louisiana legislature. What policymakers do, a lot of legislators, especially those that we've seen enter into the arena in the last 10, 15 years who are really following a calling. There are many, many Christians that are being called into public office. They're looking for model legislation. They're looking for creative ideas to solve problems. I think we got to go beyond just being critics or commentators of the chaos. And we got to, as Christians who know the truth, as we're in the Word of God, we understand how to solve problems, and we need to bring those problems to the table. And I think that's one of the things Texas is doing, one of the things Louisiana is doing, other states are doing it, and I think policymakers will pick up on that in other states and follow suit.
Very good. Well, it's so good to see you, Tony, and we'll see you around.
Very good. Enjoy your time here in Nashville.
Thank you.